Hi guys, welcome to this demo video where I demonstrate how to use Penguin data table. It's a dynamic data table. It's quite powerful, much better than the standard data table that come out of the box in Salesforce. So this is inline editing of related lists. So that's essentially what this component does. It enables for inline editing of related lists, like I said. This is something that we have requested of Salesforce for about 19-20 years now. Salesforce has not, maybe they didn't find this important enough for them to implement it on the platform. But if you look at this post from Idea Exchange, this has been in the pipeline since winter of 2008. So that's about 19 years ago. And about 3 years ago, I had a use case for this. I was working on a project where I needed to inline edit related lists, to make my application cleaner, and I couldn't find anything out there. So I upvoted this then, but since then, yeah, I'm going to add the link to this Idea Exchange post in the description of this video, so you can go through the thread. This has been, like, we've been dragging this with Salesforce for some time. Anyway, so the application, so you come here, you are looking at contact, you're looking at account, and contact is a related related object to account, right? So you are looking at accounts. You are looking at accounts, and you are able to inline edit all the related lists at once. So something like this without leaving this page, okay? And you can select them and decide to delete them and do all sort of nice little things. And the good thing about this is usable from within of flow builder, so that way it will be reusable, so admins can configure it and plug and play. Really powerful. So let me show you. So this is just a screen flow. So you bring the component and you add it to the screen flow, and all the magic will happen. So you come here, you see the flow is not going to be big because all the heavy liftings are done by the component. So your flow is just going to bring the data to the component, and output from the component, you can branch it. You can do whatever you want to do with the output from the component. And yeah, so I'm getting contact here based on record ID of the account ID. Yeah, so I'm passing the account ID to this get record element to get all the related contacts. Easy peasy. So you come here to the screen flow, and this is where you had the dynamic data table. So once you install this application, you will find this dynamic data table. You can drag it onto the canvas. Okay, this is it. And what you do from there is you just configure it. So let me just bring it in because I think it will be clear that way. So you pick the object, let's say, API name. Let's say we're looking at opportunities. So you pick opportunity here. Then we are meant to supply the rest of the information. So for the description, you have to give it, if you want, it's not a required property, but you give it a description. Once you do that, you find the text of your description here. That's what this does. If you don't give any description, then this will be hidden. Okay, so from there, debug mode, you have to turn it to false when you are done, right? But initially, when you are configuring it, you need to enable this, so that let me try and enable it so that you see what I'm talking about. Let me enable it on this one. Debug mode true. Save. Let's debug it. Yeah, so because I may enable debug mode, that's why you are having all of this interesting looking things here. So that's for your admin or developer to troubleshoot. So once you select a record, for example, you can see that this is getting populated. So you select the next one, it's automatically, getting populated immediately. So that means this record variable would be available for your auto launch flow. Okay, so if you edit the record, for example, let me edit this one, apply, you see that the modified records are getting populated too. That way, this data will be available for a screen action. So your screen action launches an auto launch flow, and with that you can then save your record. You can decide to delete or do anything that you want to do with the records. Okay, so let me come back to the component. So refresh, you set that to true if you want. If you want to set it to false, same goes for search. So if you enable those things, this is the refresh button that will be there for you to, if you made changes, say you change this one, for example, and you decide to refresh it, it will just clear it. Then search, of course. So if it's like, if the records are many, so you may want to enable search. It depends on your use case. Look at what's next. So the next thing that I want to show is the field metadata. The field metadata is just like a way of testing telling the component how you want data to be formatted. So think about like a currency field, for example. You want it to be formatted as currency, or even like email. You want it, you don't want it displayed as just text. You want it formatted like an email address or even a phone number or things like that. So I'm using custom labels here. So if I come to the custom label, the reason why I'm using custom label is just to make it easier, right? I make modifications. I don't need to go back to my flow to change something in my flow. I just make sure that my flow works well. Then I tie it to this, and with that, I can just add extra feeds, extra columns, extra data to this, and it will automatically reflect. So yeah. And another thing with the custom metadata is you can decide to set a field to true. So we know that last name is a required field, so you may want to set it to true. Let me show you how that works. So here, if you decide to remove last name from this column, it will, like, because we started, we made it a required field on the component, so that's why you are having this error. Okay. So yeah, I like to use a custom label for that. Another thing is the field name. So this is just some comma separated value of all the API name of the fields that you want to display, from title to phone. So if you want to rearrange them, you just you want phone to come before email. All you have to do is make changes here without going into your flow. So come here, let me cut this out and put it right here. Let's come mouse to go. Make sure I've not made any mistake here. Okay, must be a comma here. Save it. If I refresh it, that should change. That should swap the fields to yeah. swap them around. Easy peasy, right? And powerful. So next thing, now where does the record come from? Of course, this hide, if you don't want users to be able to select, you hide it. If you don't hide it, users will be able to select. All of the properties are self-explanatory. So where does the data come from? That's what you need under the input record. So you have this here. So from the get contact element, right? That's where I'm loading the data from. Okay. Then here, the API name of the object that you're looking at. So the read-only fields, if you want to make a particular field read-only, for example, let's say it's a formula field. So you can't edit a formula field on the interface, right? So you can mark it as read-only. Just add the API name of that field in here, separated by commas, and they will be rendered as read-only. And for this one, you have to set it to true because if the data coming into the if the data coming into the component does not include what's it called, ID number, if there is no ID on it, the system would have to assign a fake ID just to make it unique. So every record on the data table the system must find a way of identifying the records individually. So that's why it will assign a field, like it's just a column number. It will assign the column number, row number rather, to the record, so that you'll be able to select them. Without some unique stuff, you will not be able to select. You won't be able to sort. You won't be able to search. You won't even be able to refresh the data. But you want to remove them before it goes to, let's say, a auto launch flow. If you package like where is it? This one. So if you want to package all the selected record and you're trying to send it to a auto launch flow to perform an operation, if the ID is just an invalid ID, then you want to remove that. If you are trying to modify a list of record, of course, then the ID has to be correct, right? So that's why you need to enable that. I'll put everything in the documentation of the application. Yeah, and that's it. So another nice thing about it is, look at how, as you select the records, it is counting the records that are selected, right? The nice thing is these variables are available for use within your flow. So let me show you what I mean. If I edit this record now, then edited record will be included here, which is 1. So that's why this is showing up. And if I didn't select anything, then this will be grayed out, things like that, because you don't need to loop. What that enables us to do is you will not need to loop through the record anymore. You have the data that you need, so you can perform your check, right there and then, instead of having to look through record to find something. So yeah, to do that, see, this is it here. I'm using the okay, so let me delete this, so I'll show you what I mean now. So I want it to only show up when there is some edited data in it. So where are the data? The data sits on the components in the screen. So I'm picking that, and I'm picking modified record count. So modified record count has to be greater than what? Greater than 0. If it's greater than 0, then it will show up, right? If it's not, then it won't show up. Okay. So all of these are auto launch flow. I'm launching the flows with the action button. You add action button. This is new addition to Salesforce screen flow. where you can use it to, call an auto launch flow. So you build the auto launch flow, you pass the record variable to it, and all the actions will be performed. Okay, I hope this was helpful. I want to thank you very much for viewing. If you have any confusion, just drop your comments in the comment section, and I will try and get back to you as quickly as possible. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.